David Mintz, like you just said. Before I get to the main thing I was just going to mention, I just wanted to, since this is televised and maybe a few more people will hear what I have to say, just today my son goes to Ramsey Elementary, and he was on the bus on the way home, on the way up Haymaker, from the bottom of Haymaker, where the gas station is down there, the long hill going up Haymaker from that end. Anyway, his backpack ended up going out the window of the bus. They're little kids, and I don't know the exact story, but it went out the bus. The bus driver told me, and he got off crying. So I went to look for it, could not find it. And so I just wanted to mention if there's maybe, because I went out immediately when he got home and couldn't find it. So in case there was a good Samaritan who saw it fly out the school bus window and picked it up and doesn't know what to do with it because maybe we don't think his phone number was in there, if you could bring it by to Ramsey School, it's a Lego Batman backpack. If you could bring it by Ramsey School.
Yeah.
So you're saying he had a lot of homework.
Yeah, so he didn't have to do his homework tonight. So it's all gone. So I hope the teacher believes.
Better than a dog game.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
It went out the bus window. So that was the first thing. The other thing was back to my normal subject. A few members of Sustainable Monroeville dropped off an updated oil and gas ordinance yesterday, our version of it, to Mr. Little's office, and it's based on the work that Mr. Ratcher did. This is getting close to 2 years ago, along with additional information that wasn't in there based on air quality issues, also some scientific background for setbacks from the University of Maryland. There's a lot of things, so the communities around us that have used, so it's all in there, and I brought copies just in case, but I just want to make sure, did everybody receive a copy of that then? It's the brand new one, and Mr. Ratcher too?
I have it. Yeah.
Oh, you have it? Okay, so all the council people and Mr.
I have not
Ratcher.
received it yet, but
Oh, you haven't? Well,
but I'll be getting electronic.
Okay, well,
Oh, I'm sorry. It's in my. I have it. It's underneath here. It's in here. Sorry.
okay. And so now that we've submitted that, and it was just yesterday, now that we've submitted it, I'm, I guess, interested in the next step of who I or other people can meet with to talk about it. I'm sure Mr. Ratcher, I mean, you can tell me, but maybe Mr. Ratcher obviously has to look it over, study it, and then could we talk about it so that, once we work out any issues, that it can be advertised as ordinances are and then voted on, since we've been talking about this for several years.
Yeah, I think the first step is absolutely having Mr. Ratcher
Right.
look it over and review it along with staff.
Right.
And maybe at that point, then Mr. Little can perhaps reach back out to you or your representatives and go from there.
Okay.
That's probably the best way to do it.
Do you think, like just a timeline, in sometime between now and next, so what are we in? October, so sometime between now and October's meetings, do you think that would be sufficient time for that to happen, and then for us to have a meeting just to talk about it before the next Citizen Night meeting?
Perhaps.
Sound reasonable?
One thing, Dave, one thing you have to keep in mind, it has to go before the Planning Commission.
Oh, okay. So so what's the procedure? I guess I'm not sure. So what happens? You guys study it, Mr. Ratcher studies it?
Well, yeah, the procedure is, obviously your solicitor has to look at any kind
Sure.
of amendment to any kind of ordinance. And then, as the mayor said, staff and the solicitor look at it.
Right.
And we can talk with you about it, but it has to go before the Planning Commission. The
Okay.
Planning Commission has to give their review of it, their recommendation to pass it on with amendments, not amendments, and then it gets to the council's bench, so to speak, and then a public hearing has to be held. All right, and that has to be advertised. We have to have a public hearing, and if there's any amendments, substantial evidence, amendments made after that, then another, usually that doesn't happen,
Right.
but maybe 10% of the time it does. So there is a process to it.
Sure.
Okay.
Is there just as a ballpark, I know maybe it wouldn't be exact, but how long would you think before it would make it to the Planning Commission? Like, I could attend that. That's a public meeting too, right?
I would not venture to go there.
I mean, like a month or two, or
I would not venture.
Really?
I
Is
would
there
not,
anybody
I
else
couldn't
that-
say, Dave.
is there any way of knowing?
No.
Not at all.
I just received the document.
Okay.
I didn't even read it over at all yet, so it needs to
Okay.
be reviewed. We're getting into budget season, so there's some
Sure.
challenges
Okay,
with
but the
that.
process at least
It's here,
will be-
and we're going to get,
Yeah,
we're going to start it.
it's moving. Okay, all right. Everybody has a copy. I had more if anybody needed. Did anybody want another one, or for anybody else, it's staff?
We
Did
have
the- oh, it's staff
we
that
have,
needs
yeah.
it, had it? Okay, all right, thank you.